Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Te Atiawa First Nations people on whose traditional lands these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. For those that are really new to my channel, welcome on this crazy journey that we are on. I'm just going to say I am not at home. I'm actually an Australian. I'm in New Zealand at the moment looking after my mum who's going through chemo. I'm in an Airbnb, so I'm sitting at a coffee table on the floor here. Yay! My hips love that. Things are a little bit odd on this end, so I do apologise if I'm I've got a tea towel for a tablecloth, etc. Happening here. So thank you for joining me. Absolutely lovely to have you along. Okay, what I want to have a look at. Well, first of all, I just want to say breathe. Take a deep breath. Everybody has done what they need to do for the moment. It's out of what happens next is out of our hands. So let it go. Put it down by the side of the road and continue on with life. Feel the sun on your face, hear the birds, if you can get some grass under your feet, those sorts of things. Just go forward, because what will happen is not in our hands at the moment. Unless, of course, you've seen some fraud anomalies with your voting, or you know somebody who has. Just encourage them to go to vote.gov, and there is a segment there where you can lodge suspected funky behaviour with the vote. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Now, for those that are new, yes, I haven't been on for the last 2 days because that was my weekend, and I take my weekends off. Mind you, at the moment, what is a weekend with all else that's going on in life? Okay, what I'm going to have a look at, well, we'll have a little bit of a chat about things first at the moment. I've popped a fabulous video, actually several fabulous videos in my community section. If you go to my main page, so click on my icon or click on maighstirtarot, take you to the main page as a community section. There's a couple of videos that I have shared over the last few days that I found really insightful. So what I want to have a look at, first of all, be kind to each other. Don't pull each other up on nuances and spelling. If it's obvious somebody's spelt something wrong or the wrong way, just let it go. Just let everything go. Unless you see a troll. If you see a troll, do not engage them. There's a few out there. I seem to catch most of them. But if you do see one, just simply the 3 dots down the side, just report it. It'll go into a health section and I'll pick them up there. If you are a troll, don't bother commenting, because even though I can't block you, I will hide you. And all you're doing is shouting into the ether, and the only person that can see your comment is you. Okay, so deep breath. What I really want to have a quick chat about first, before I get on to anything else, is one reason why we are feeling the energy, you and I, so heavily at the moment, is because I always talk about the feather brick mat truck. When we are given lessons in life, and this is in our personal life, and this is in community and wider society lessons, when there are lessons to be learned, we are often given, I'm just going to say we are given 3 opportunities for that lesson. And the first comes to us as a feather moment, like a light feather that just sort of flicks us as it floats past, and we can wake up and learn the lesson at that stage, or we can choose to ignore it. Now, when I'm talking about a light flicker stage, for me, when I'm thinking about it, that was the first Trump election, the 2016 election. For me, that was the feather moment. And I'll use I'll use personal analogies in a minute to explain this a little bit deeper. What happens if we choose to ignore the feather moment? We are given a brick moment. So basically a brick to the head lesson. For me, as I observe from this point in time, but also going through it, the big moment was Brexit on the global stage. Now, for those that understand how Brexit worked, a lot of people voted for Brexit, thinking it wouldn't get through. It was a protest vote that they were making. What also happened is you had the likes of Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson, etc., selling a lot of disinformation. Now, there is a difference between misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is, oh, whoops, I said something wrong. Disinformation is, I know I'm lying, but I'm going to say it anyhow. So there was a lot of disinformation about Brexit, and it was very much along the lines similar to what's been happening in the US as foreigners are coming and taking your jobs. We would be better off if we weren't all part of one. These ones are stealing your money, that sort of thing. So for me, on the global stage, the brick was Brexit. A lot of people didn't seem to learn from that one either. And what's happened now is this particular election, even though we know, and if we know as lay people, that it was stolen, hacked, whatever you like to call it, then rest assured the authorities know. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Rest assured the authorities know. The fact that Elon had come out months and months and months ago and said all it needed was the insertion of a line of code that could have been inserted before the machines were checked. It could have, Ivanka apparently had a patent for voting machines. I haven't been able to tell whether the voting machines in place, coming out of China, whether the voting machines in place were actually made in China under Ivanka's patent. The fact that Josh Rogan has come out and dobbed in on Musk, saying that Musk knew 4 hours before the election result was actually known of what the election result was going to be. Bit strange. So Rogan's come out and said that. Trump said, don't need the votes. I mean, you know what went on in the months before. We've talked about it ad nauseum. This has been the Mack truck moment. This is the final lesson, and we will have to sit in this lesson until the lesson is learnt. Now, I talked about this again last week, that we're up here. We saw it at the feather stage, and if not, we saw it at the brick stage. But what's happened is that there's this big, we're up here, there's this big swathe down here, totally ignored the feather and brick, and that's why we're having to go through the Mack truck version. And we feel like we've been hit by the Mack truck. There will be an element that will never change. They won't see it, they won't learn it, that's fine. But there's this whole middle sector of the population that are having an awakening moment. And I am saying having in the present tense, because what's happened is that first of all, the incredible silence after the results came through. That these people in the middle, there's that element in the bottom that are yelling, your body, my choice, all the rest of it, and carrying on like yahoos as they do. But this bit in the middle went, hang on, that doesn't feel quite right. We were all chest beaty and rah, 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 and we're going to fight, 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 and all the rest of it. But hang on, if we were meant to fight, then how did this happen? And when you're talking about how did this happen, all the swing states apparently went red, as you know. Presidential, popular, Senate, and I can just about put money on House. So it was a massive overreach. The math does not math for a lot of people to say. But another way the math doesn't math is then in a lot of these on the edge states, it came through as Trump for president, but then blew right down the ballot. Or it came completely red, but voted yes for abortion rights. Now, if you're voting yes for abortion rights for women, for female health care, you're not going to vote for the people that took your health care away. I'm just putting it out there. So if we know, they know. So what's happening though is that a number of these middle people are having a wake up about what's actually happening. And when I say what's happening, they're suddenly realizing how tariffs work. It's not like we haven't been telling you for months. And Trump, sorry about this big waffle in the start, and Trump, he did tariffs in his first term, his previous term. He brought in tariffs against China. China said, fine, we'll put tariffs against you, equal tariffs. And it sent a number of farmers through the wall, absolutely destroyed livelihoods, wrecked generational farms. And this is why I'm saying there was this feather moment. We saw what tariffs actually do, and that was a learning opportunity. Anyhow, so a lot of them didn't seem to realise what tariffs did then, and that was back in 2020. I did write it down somewhere. 2016, he brought in the tariffs, his first year of office. I suspect perhaps it got lost in the COVID crisis, but 2016 he brought in the tariffs. 2020, 4 years later, Brexit came through, and we are now 4 years later. So it's interesting that it's 4 years apart as well for these lessons. So they're learning about tariffs. They're learning about, so what's happened is Trump has apparently embraced Project 2025 after denying its even existence. So, of course, what's happened then is a lot of these middle people are reading Project 2025 and going, oh, crumbs. And the policy for deportation, you've had Republicans come out on the news services, the mainstream media, and said, well, that's the mandate, that we're going to build these detention camps. And how many was it? 14 million or something? I can't even remember. Or was it 40? I can't remember. And apparently, if you read the fine print, just because you married an American citizen does not mean you are an American citizen. I'm just putting it out there. A lot of them are realising this as well. So the question is, my question straight up, sorry to take so long, and I'm actually using my Trip and Wait tarot. It's only a really tiny deck, but it's the one I've been drawn to use. There's also now they're suddenly realising that perhaps their benefits are not safe, that their health insurance, their health care is not safe, etc. So there is this awakening happening. According to Midas Touch, now it wasn't the guy, I don't know the name of the guy, he did a really good video that I saw yesterday that was talking about the tariffs and the awakening of this middle sector of people. And apparently shortly after the election results were announced, there was a huge spike in Google of a search of how do I change my vote. So buyer's remorse, methinks. Okay, so what I want to have a look. First of all, how are the MAGAs feeling? You threw that one out. How are the MAGAs actually feeling, or how is that middle sector feeling now that the reality is coming out? How is that middle section feeling now that the reality's come out? Apparently, Trump hasn't been seen outside, or rarely seen since the election results. Okay. Just going to say, before I turn these cards over, is that I'm not going to give you any advice of what you need to do. Don't act rashly. Deep breath. Look at all your options if you feel that you need options. Look at all your options and go through process of all your options as a mental exercise with piece of paper or whatever you need to do, piece of paper and pen. so that when you need to make a decision about anything, assuming you need to make a decision, you may not. Boy, oh boy, we are on a timeline we are not supposed to be on. When it comes to time to making a decision about anything, you have looked at all the options. So there is no knee-jerk reaction required. And it may be, if serious enough, okay, how would it work if I sold up and moved to Wals's state, or is it Minnesota, or if I moved to Washington state, or whatever? Is that possible for me to do? What will happen if I need extra income? Do I have a second room a bedroom that I can rent out? Do I have space on my property where I can grow some vegetables, or a garage that I'm not using that I can rent out to somebody that needs somewhere for storing their stuff? Look at all your options. Talk to you if you need healthcare prescriptions. Talk to your doctor. Get those earlier rather than later, and get them filled. Those sorts of things. That's just what I'm talking about with. You need to look after you first, and only you know what you need to do. So deep breath. Know that you've done all that you need to do. Look at all your options if you need options. If you don't, fabulous. And let it go. Put it down. You've done all that you need to do. Put it down at the side of the road and let it go. Okay, come on down. Sorry about my super long waffle there. So I'm doing, is that middle section, how are they feeling? Okay, first card out, Queen of Swords. It is my Harris card, but it can also be clarity, a wisdom, a truth coming to being. Now, queens are internally doing, whereas kings are action, queens are within. So this can very possibly be, well, it could be the fact that Harris did actually win, but it could also be that they are going within and realizing the truth, realizing with knowledge, a wisdom that perhaps they didn't have before. So I just turned my deck over, it was upside down. Challenged by the Hanged Man, the sacrifice, the seeing things from a different point of view. So I am going to say very strongly, yes, they are going within and realizing that what the so-called woke libtard Dems have been telling them for 6, 12, 24 months was true. So their challenge is to do a lot of internal soul searching. I'm just asking how they're feeling. They're going within and having a look at things from a different point of view. Now, this is the lesson that they need to have. This is why we're at the Mac truck stage. This is why the timeline is not clear about what is coming, because if you're like me on your US Tuesday night, or Tuesday day actually, even before the polls started to close, I felt like we shifted into a different timeline that we were not supposed to be in. Now, my mother would argue, my spiritual mother, she would argue and say we're exactly where we're meant to be. But it's like we had these paths we could take, and we took the wrong one as a collective. Now, this is when I say we, I'm an Aussie in New Zealand. I don't even get to vote. I don't even live over there. But I am part of this global world, and I will be here, and I will link arms with you for as long as necessary. So, looking forward to one day just doing spiritual type readings. But that is the Mac truck lesson we're in at the moment, and we will stay in that lesson for as long as necessary for this internal attitude shift to occur. If it happens within the next few weeks, for that majority, as I said, there'll always be an element that will never change, but for that middle majority, if they have that shift, then we will be on this change in timeline in regards to the certification, or just even the what Biden decrees from the White House or whatever. Trump will not be inaugurated. If we do not, as the majority, have that change, have that movement, have that shift, have that realization within, Trump will get inaugurated, and it will be an absolute shite show where, well, I'm not even feeling it'll be Trump. I'm feeling it'll be Vance. Literally, they've dragged Trump over the line, and he's done what he's needed to do. He's now expendable, and I'll read on that a bit later as to whether he realises he is or not, and I think he does. Whoever gets inaugurated from the that is controlled by the puppet masters behind the scenes, where the curtain has been pulled back and we know who those puppet masters are, if we don't learn in the next couple of weeks, in the next 2 months, we will be forced to. And we will be forced to endure a period of a false presidency where it will be really rough for anybody who is other. And sadly, a lot of people are finding that they are on that other list. And when I'm talking about a lot of people, I'm talking about people in that middle section. Okay, so let's keep going. Holy crumbs! Fight in my belly. And what's on the bottom? Full exposure. Absolutely. So well, first of all, they're feeling like they were played as children, for children, but they're out in the light now. So I have hope that the message will get out there in time at the foundation. Can I feel like crying? This is a rebalancing. This is a pouring from cup to remove the toxicity. This is a balance between the practical and the emotional. You have the sun rising over the mountains in the background, over the obstacle, the beginning of a new day. Love it. Okay, I am hopeful. So I was asking, are they going to learn the lesson? In the past, we've got the Queen of Cups. The keeping a lid on the emotions and stewing over those emotions. The lid's been taken off. And they've seen what's in that cup. And they realise it wasn't necessarily something to get angry over. But they got played. In the past, they were being fed these emotions that were really, really cheesing them off. But this is in the past. Has that lid been removed? And they actually see the truth. And I think it's starting to. Now, the message that we'll be getting out there to those that are in this middle element are coming from people in that middle element, in that middle section. So it's not the wokey libtards who, we've been awake since 2016, if not before. It's not the message, the information's not coming from us. It is coming from their own ranks. Okay, crowning this reading, working together across the aisle, coming together, hand being offered. Now, this is not the time, and it is not the time going forward to say, nah, told you so, or, man, we tried to tell you, bash, head. No, this is the time when they wake up and they realise, don't be demanding apologies, don't be demanding that they eat humble pie, just say welcome. Welcome with love, with acceptance. Isn't it wonderful? Glad you could join us. crowning the reading. Immediate future. We've got the authorities here. Now, is this the government, or is this the courts, or is this the intelligence agencies? Not sure. Looks like a taking control and making a decree. Not pleased by the fact that he's wearing the red gown. Drawn to my visualizing my Will Harris become president reading, where I had the Seven of Swords there, and I thought it would be the Republicans thinking that the Democrats stole the election, but it's turned out the other way around. I'm just going to point out on that too, because I've had a couple of trolls in regards to, oh, you got all hot and bothered because the Republicans claimed that back in 2020. The Republicans lodged multiple, at least 70, if not, I think it might have been 170 legal cases claiming the election was stolen, fraud, and all the rest of it, and none of them held water. There was no facts for any of them. And in fact, all that was discovered there were Republicans who had cheated and frauded. So I'm just going to put that out there, that back in 2020, and I think Susan Lynn puts it expertly, she says what happens is the Republicans are very good at taking possession of slogans and battle cries, etc., claiming it as their own, so that if they do actually make those moves and the Democrats go, hang on, it appears to be sour grapes, or it appears to be, well, you're getting all upset, but, we had it first type thing. So there is some sort of power here, the Hierophant, some sort of decree that comes down, some sort of announcement. So let's see where we go in the near future. Externally, a gift from the past, going back to a simpler time. Now, is this going back to a Trump 4 years? We'll see how it goes. Internally, hidden agendas that will be revealed. I do like with this, it's emotionally a gift from the past. Or it could just be emotionally a gift. Now, the gift is coming from a bloke with red on him and being given to the young girl. Now, I was reading something this morning that apparently divorce application rates have gone through the roof in the US in what is considered normally a quiet month in the lead up to Christmas. Women are basically saying, I don't think so. It's not happening. But I wonder if this is an apology externally that's coming forward, as there is this realization, because this is the hidden agenda being revealed internally. Okay, and I am talking about that middle section, trying to placate, because the agenda has actually been revealed. The hopes and fears, a judgment moment, and totally. This is the opportunity for a collective awakening. We hope, I suspect the ones behind the scenes fear, but it is time for a collective awakening. Gosh, I hope that's a hope. The outcome. So how are they feeling? Betrayed, disappointed, heartbroken. Their emotions have been spilt. Their emotions have been trampled on. They're finding out that what the red that was in those emotional cups is worthless. Oh gosh, I hope. Still 2 cups remaining, but 3 spilled. And the 3 is that middle section. 2 at the top, 3 in the middle, 2 at the bottom. 2 will never change their minds. It's that middle section. Knight of Pentacles. Steady progress forward, steady governance forward, but it could also be a realization of the mercenary actions that were on offer by Mother. Well, again, it's a twofold card. So for those that are worried about Harris and Biden making concession speeches, do not. For those that are worried about Biden meeting with Trump at the White House, don't be worried. What's happening is that for stability of government, they are going through the motions. None of it is legally binding. It is just the professional method of going through the motions after an election result. So do not be alarmed at it. Do not accuse Harris and Biden of how dare they make a concession speech. They have done this to calm the energy of the country. Imagine if they refused to. Imagine if either of them came out straight up and said, oh, no, it's been stolen, we're not going to concede. Then it would be, we're going to fight, we're going to attack, we're going whatever. It would feed into this anger of emotions. So what's happened is they've diffused that while things are happening behind the scenes. But the loss could be the mercenary actions of Mother Russia, of Netanyahu, of whoever else was involved behind the scenes. However, it could also be acknowledgement of the loss, steady governance, steady progress forward, slow but moving forward, and like any birth, painful, but afterwards joy. So this is the Empress. She is pregnant. She brings with her the abundance of something new, of enough for everyone. It's also my Mother Russia card. So I am feeling very much that they're walking away. So how are they feeling? Do they feel like they've been duped by this disinformation messaging from Russia? Or are they having a realization, looking long and hard at how they voted, going through a painful rebirth and then walking away, a painful birth, walking away, and then tower moment for them. The foundation that they built their anger, their beliefs on, is going to crumble from beneath them. The offer will come forward, the offer, and then we come together. Now, I'm not, and under Biden, there's my Biden card, some sort of contract and agreement, or just an angelic coming together, where you've got the male looking incredibly uncomfortable while the female looks at the higher light. And I posted something on, actually I posted on a private Facebook page that I'm on, a meme that came across my table. I'll have to put it on the community page. I'll do that later today. That said, it really sucks. And it really sucks that I have to explain why it sucks. And it really sucks why men are trying to tell me that it doesn't suck. And yeah, we get that. Now, do not necessarily believe the exit polls. I know they're saying, 50-something% of white women voted for Trump. I'm just going to put it out there. If you were in Kentucky or Arkansas or any of those sorts of states and you came out of the polling booth, out of the polling station with your husband next to you, and you were grabbed by someone who said, "Who did you vote for?" Are you really going to say that you voted for Harris in front of your husband? I don't think so. So this is about a female enlightenment. We're already there. And the men realizing. Now, again, I'm not saying all men, but then I've got under Biden. Under Biden. Just seeing what's coming up. If I keep telling the story, I know some of you want me to say what the cards are, but I'm actually a storyteller reader. So I often don't even look at what the cards are. I just know the by rote meaning, and therefore I just tell the story. Disappointment in what was actually offered. Now I'm talking about these middle band Republicans. Disappointment in what actually was offered. On the back foot, defending themselves about the messaging that coming out, because it's really unexpected, out of left field, stinky fish information. So this is going a bit deeper. They were deluded by false promises. Their judgment was clouded. They were deluded by the promise of riches, by those in power, the oligarchs. They made a decision had to be made, and they've found that it wasn't a good decision. And they're coming forward from a new place. Again, not all, I'm just saying, and a realization that the vote count was manipulated and the vote was stolen. The harsh truth is going to come out. We've got Homeland Security here that will bring a significant end and new beginning. They're going to feel like they were played, and they're not going to like it. Fully exposed about the false promises, about the fact that what they were promised they were going to get, they ain't going to get. They're going to feel battered, bruised, in a corner, having to have a really good think when the information is there and cannot be ignored any longer. Have to have a really good think about internally about the truth. It's going to be difficult for some of them because they're going to have to admit that they were played. Have to have a really long, hard think. But then we have the justice, the rebalancing. When it comes to Trump, the King of Pentacles, it's my Trump card. There's going to be some volatile information that is brought forward that will lead to an investigation. He's going to find himself, well, the investigation. Are these his followers that have found themselves out in the cold? The Chariot, the Sphinxes are lying down. They're not moving forward. This false prophet, this false god is going to, and he's got the red cape on him. That's how it's going to play. So I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to say yes, not all, but yeah, they are realizing that they got played. Not all, but they are. Now, for anybody who's in one of those your body now belongs to me areas, states, walking away, the emperor being trampled, the king, wannabe king being trampled underfoot, the dawn of a new day. For those that live in any of those, your body belongs to me now. Please, if you've got daughters, wives, sisters, whoever it is, grandmas even, great-grandmas, whoever, take some self-defense classes. If you have children of high school age, perhaps approach your local law enforcement about running a self-defense class either after school or in the lunch hour for girls. I'm sure there will be women in the local law enforcement who will say, yes, I will do that for nothing. If you can't find anything like that, Google, watch videos, get a group of you together, practice the moves. That's all I can say there. Practice the moves. Yeah, you do you. You do what you need to do. But hey, if you say amongst a group of just put it out there at the local dog park with some girls there or some other mums at the school gate or something like that. Just if you feel comfortable enough saying, just thinking, might, have a look and just do some self-defense classes or something. Or, wherever you happen to be. First of all, you'll find other like-minded people. But it's also a calm way of finding out which side of the fence they're on. But if you put it out, I'm just thinking might start some self-defense classes for my daughter. Even if it's just Google it, stick it up on the big screen telly, get the girls to go through the moves, get them to practice on each other. I would highly recommend it. Okay, well, 41 minutes, that's probably way long enough. My readings usually I try and get them under 15 minutes, so 41 minutes. I am going to have a look at a couple of other videos. So I'll do a couple of other videos this afternoon, see how I go through them. I'm going to continue using this deck. I'm being told to keep using this deck. As I shuffle, I've got on the base the smug merchant with his red hat on, with all his ducks lined up in a row. Somebody thinks he's got it, that he's gotten away with it, and that's part of the... Oh, why when I start talking about this dude do I get this in my throat? He thinks he's got it. They are placating him. I'll do that in another reading. Okay, I'll get this up. I'll see who's been messaging. Probably my mum. Left her in the hospital getting a blood infusion, so I shall catch you shortly. Look after yourselves. Love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.